Hi, my name is Leticia Alvarado, and I will be interviewing my stepfather, Jim. How old are you?
I am 51.
And we are doing the interview in our kitchen. Can you share some important lessons you've learned in life?
Some of the important lessons I've learned in my life are to always evaluate what you do. Don't do it just at the spur of the moment. Sometimes the consequences don't turn out as planned or you regret it later. In other words, think before you speak, think before you act.
Okay. Would you be willing to share a happy or sad memory with me?
Well, I can share a couple. One of the happiest moments that I can remember is back in the late 80s. I was running as an emergency medical technician with Grafton Volunteer Fire and Rescue. We got paged out for a sudden infant death syndrome case. Infant had stopped breathing. Upon our arrival, the infant was blue, and happy to say, after some CPR, we were able to revive that child, and he is doing well and has turned into a great person as of today.
Okay. Have you, met the child after?
Yes, I've seen him on many occasions.
What is your favorite childhood memory?
Favorite childhood memory are the weekends when I was able to spend time with my dad, either going to his place of employment where he worked as a mechanic and helping him in the shop, learning some of the stuff on rebuilding engines and working on heavy trucks and equipment. And I enjoyed just being able to spend Saturdays and Sundays with Dad, doing father and son type time, and him and I working on my very first car that I got when I was 12, and we basically reconstructed it after it was in a front-end collision.
Oh. How do you want people to remember you?
I would like people to remember me for the hard work and dedication that I, put forth towards helping others. That I'm, a bit of a joker. And I basically, enjoy life.
Who has had the greatest impact on your life?
Who has had the greatest impact in my life? I would again have to say my father.
How has he impacted your life?
Has pretty much passed down all the knowledge that he gained through his time on this earth. Taught me the skills that I have today. Pretty much made me ready for the real world.
Where did you grow up and what was your childhood like?
I grew up in Grafton, Wisconsin. Lived there pretty much all my life up till about the age of 26. Childhood was awesome. Never a dull moment. Had some pretty cool friends. Did the normal things with the buddies, dirt biking, go-karting, stuff like that. Aggravating the neighbors. Usual kid stuff.
Can you tell me about a teacher or other adult that had impacted your life?
Yes, automotive's shop teacher in high school, Carl Hader. The man is just amazing. He definitely helped to enhance my interests in the automotive and truck repair industry, and that very knowledgeable person, and definitely a good leader.
What kind of job were you thinking of having after you graduated high school?
Well, after I graduated high school, I was looking into the mechanics field, working on auto and light truck, which I did pursue. I did that as a hobby for many, many years while I worked operating heavy equipment. And then I actually took it up as a career, and due to an injury back in '93, had to give up that field in 2004 after a total hip replacement.
What kind of advice would you have for kids in the future?
My advice to kids in the future: pay attention in school, listen to your parents, don't be afraid to offer help to people in need, and most of all, if you're going to drink when you're of age, don't drive. Give someone the keys.
What have you accomplished so far in your life that makes you the proudest?
Some of my accomplishments in life, I was able to fulfill my dream of being a firefighter / EMT. Did that for 10 years. I went back to technical school for diesel and powertrain servicing after my injury in '93, and I was able to succeed at almost 30 years of age as top of my class. So that made me pretty happy, and then I was inducted into the National Vocational Honor Society.
Oh. What was your favorite memory of being a firefighter?
I think my favorite memory of being a firefighter was being able to participate in the school visitations and see all the younger kids and that during Fire Prevention Week, and then being able to spend that one Sunday a year when we call it open house, where the public comes in and tours the firehouse, looks at the equipment and stuff like that, and it's kind of your chance to share memories and knowledge and that, so that people don't end up being less fortunate because of a fire or an injury. Teaching safety and just trying to look out for their general well-being. I think that was my most favorite memory.
What kind of traditions did your family have?
Pretty much old-fashioned traditions. Easter, we would go to church on Sunday, and then get together with the grandparents and aunts and uncles, and then have a big dinner, usually for Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Always enjoyed Sundays with the grandparents. We'd always go down and visit my dad's mom and dad, and get together with the aunts and the uncles, and kill a Sunday afternoon, have a Sunday meal, whatever. But it was always nice to have the family time.
What do you see as your family's legacy?
Oh, my family's legacy, I would say probably hardworking, kind, and helpful towards others.
Has your life been different from what you imagined as a teenager?
To a certain point, I guess, yes. I kind of figured that I would have more kids, and that I wouldn't have been busted up like I was back in '93. So yeah, I didn't envision that major life-altering situation. So I would say, yeah, I've taken some changes.
How many kids did you want to have?
I would have liked to have had 6.
Thinking of jobs that you've held, is there one that stands out as your favorite?
Yeah, when I worked for Ozaukee County Highway Department from 2000 to 2005, after my hip replacement, obviously I had to part ways because I couldn't do the job anymore. But yeah, I enjoyed that job quite a bit, being able to not only work on the heavy equipment, but to operate the heavy equipment also. I did enjoy that job.
What lessons has working taught you?
That if you work hard, the rewards are well, and that you can pretty much do anything if you set your mind to it.
When you were growing up, what role did religion slash spirituality play in your life?
It pretty much reinforced the fact, do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Kind of kept me on the straight and narrow.
What motivated you to be a firefighter?
My dad had been a firefighter for several years as a volunteer firefighter, and then also at his place of employment where he worked, it was the Village of Fox Point Public Works. While he was at work, he was also a volunteer firefighter for Fox Point. And so it kind of got in my blood when I was, 4 or 5 years old. I always liked seeing the equipment, watching them in action, and hoping that someday I could in turn do that. Kind of a way to give back to the community.
What was the most difficult part about being a firefighter?
The training was extensive. Back when I joined in '84, we were required to do a basic firefighter course, and then as time evolved, we had to go get state certified, what they call Firefighter 1, and you have to have so many hours of active training per year, and then being an EMT, the class is like 6-7 months long with a national registry exam at the end, and then you have to have so many hours of recertification every couple of years. So there's quite a bit of time put into a job that pays you zero other than getting the satisfaction of helping your community.
What kind of training did they have you do?
We did everything from entering rooms that are actually on fire and extinguishing them, dragging victims out, which were obviously dummies at the time, climbing ladders, raising ladders, proper handling of firefighting tools, operating the fire equipment such as the trucks, saws, etc. And then as far as the EMS training, that was everything from CPR, basic first aid, cardiac monitor reading for the monitoring of the heart. Also learning how to administer defibrillation if somebody had an actual heart attack. So it was quite extensive training.
Oh. If given the opportunity, would you be a firefighter again, and why?
In a heartbeat. I miss it. I enjoy helping others and giving back to my community.
Could you elaborate more on what happened with your accident?
Yeah, it was September 23rd, 1993, 10:12 in the morning. I was actually working for Wisconsin Electric Power Company, working out of West Bend. I was en route back to the substation with tools and equipment from a trouble call. And I was coming around a curve. It was a rather blind curve up a slight hill, and I was next to a guardrail. A vehicle come flying over the top of the hill in my lane, and I had virtually no time to react. The vehicle struck me head on, spun my pickup truck around so that I was actually facing east-west on a north-south road. The vehicle carried on for probably 200 feet, 300 feet, came to a rest, and I remember the West Bend Fire paramedic unit coming in, getting me out of the vehicle, being transported to St. Joseph's Hospital in West Bend, severe lower back, left hip pain. Found out that I received a long bone acetabular fracture, which in basic English is the whole entire hip socket was shattered off the pelvis. The whole corner of the left pelvis was shattered. And I was transferred down to Frederick in Milwaukee, where I spent approximately a month and a half in the hospital. They did reconstructive surgery. Spent a couple weeks prior to surgery in traction. And then after the surgery, I spent an additional 3 weeks in the hospital because there was an infection that set in and I had to be on IV antibiotics. During that period of coming back, I did find out that the person who hit me had passed away at the scene. He was 33 years old, had a .298 blood alcohol level at 10 in the morning, and that there was actually a third person involved, and that person had fled the scene of the accident, and that witnesses had made a statement that they were playing cat and mouse and estimate that the impact was about 98 to 102 miles an hour head on. I'm very lucky, very thankful to be alive, and it definitely has changed my life considerably, and that's why I cannot stress it enough. If you're going to drink, do not drive. Get somebody to drive. You're not only risking your life, you're risking the lives and livelihoods of others. I can't stress it enough. Don't drink and drive.
If the people that did this were sitting in front of you, what would you say to them?
I would ask them if they've learned a lesson, and ask them how they would view it if it was them on the receiving end, and basically stress the same thing. I don't condone if you want to have a drink, just please turn your keys over.